Hey, welcome to Tami Talks. I am your host, Tami Gaines, on this journey, which I hope is going to be fun and focused, educational, but also light. So, the reason that I started this podcast, the reason why I'm going on this journey with you is that we all have seasons, right? We have sunny days, we have rainy days, we have good times, and we have bad times. And it's how we get through those bad times that define the rest of time. So, if you'll indulge me, I want to tell you about the 5 months that was my season of change. So, in the course of just 5 months, I became unexpectedly pregnant with twins. My husband of 12 years gave me an ultimatum because he didn't want any more kids. The ultimatum was easy. It took me a 10-second decision to say, I'll choose the twins. I don't like you that much anyway. So with that decision, I also became suddenly single with 4 kids. I was placed on hospitalized bedrest for 5 weeks trying to stay pregnant with the twins. By the way, still having 2 at home. And when the twins were born, they were extremely premature. They weighed 1 pound, 12 ounces each. You could literally fit them in the palm of your hand. And that began a roller coaster of emotions and experiences in the NICU. And if anybody out there has a premature baby, you know exactly what I'm talking about. My daughter spent 4 months in the NICU before she came home, and she came home on oxygen, monitors, but she came home. My son spent 18 months in the NICU, in the pediatric intensive care unit, in the neonatal intensive care unit, in the pediatric intensive care unit, in a rehabilitation facility before he finally came home at 18 months. And when he came home, he was dependent on all sorts of medical equipment. He had a trach, he was on oxygen, he was on so many drugs. I can't even remember how many pills he was on a couple times a day. And he had a poor prognosis for living. And I basically said, if he's not going to make it, he's not going to make it at home. So my whole fight was to get him home. During that same period of time, when all this was going on in the background, I lost both of my grandmothers. They were my rocks. They were my ancient wisdom. They were the ones who I checked in with on big life decisions and for practical advice. And I still do, even though they're not with us anymore. Probably the nail in the coffin, the worst thing was that at the very end of that 5-month period of time, I had to put my 14-year-old dog to sleep. Her health just went. It seemed like as I was going through all of this, she just got worse and worse every day. So it was 5 months where I dealt with uncertainty, fear, pain. But I had kids at home. And one day I remember being in the kitchen, staring out the window into nothingness, trying to decide how much longer I could hold up before I collapsed. And I sensed somebody standing behind me. And when I turned, it was my oldest daughter. And she was sizing me up. I could tell she was trying to figure out if I was okay. And in that very instant, she burst into tears. She started crying her eyes out. I ran over to her. I put my arms around her. And I just said, Haley, everything's going to be okay. One day we're going to look back on this and realize it was the best thing that ever happened to us. Dad leaving, the twins coming, Ava going home. That's our dog. We're all going to be extraordinarily grateful for what this has brought to our life. And I realized that while I was talking to her, I was actually talking to myself, convincing myself that everything was going to be okay, even though the foundation of everything I'd known for basically my adult life was falling apart. I'm sure some of you feel like that. You're hit with something that takes you out at the knees. You can't imagine ever rebounding from it. But somehow we do, because we are all built to be resilient. So that's what led me to this show. I use my life as my classroom. I'm transparent. I've experienced everything from obviously bad marriage, divorce, dating after 40, raising kids on my own. I'm a single mom in today's world. There's so much to contend with. It's even harder now, probably. You know what? Let me not even say that. Raising kids by yourself is just hard. And it requires a certain sense of grit and obviously commitment. Kids above all else, right? So I wanted to create a safe space where we could talk about this stuff, where you can bring your concerns, you could bring your challenges to this safe space, which is within our greenhouse, and we could help you grow through your challenges, not just go through them. So every week, I'm looking forward to having different guests to talk about different stages of your journey. Coming out of all of this adversity, I realized that I was better for it, I was bigger for it, and I wanted to teach other women how to do the same thing. So I created the relentless resilience process. Relentless resilience. Now, listen, resilience means something different to everybody, but it's essentially the process of adapting and thriving in the face of trauma, adversity, stuff that we all deal with all the time. So I am one of the few people that has created a process. I literally documented what I did for 15 years to get stronger through having the twins, through getting divorced, through raising kids alone, through putting my long, loyal, wonderful lab to sleep. And I'm looking forward to sharing that with you because I believe that our will is a renewable resource. And I believe that it's only in our darkest moments that our brightest light can shine. So this is what we're here for on Tami Talk. I'm going to talk to you about my 7-step process. There's no magic. I can tell you that it requires perseverance. Some steps will take you a couple of days and some steps may take you a couple of months. There's no magic pill. I'm just going to be your guide on your journey through getting through, growing through whatever it is you're going through. So we'll have guests. We'll have some shows where I tell you to get out a piece of paper and a pencil. We're going to write together. I'm going to teach you some tools that you can put in your toolbox to help you on the next thing that comes up, because something is always going to come up, right? So this is about relentless resilience. And sprinkled in here, we're going to talk about busy mom stuff. Like, how do you whip together a meal in 5 minutes? I can do it. I can teach you how. We're going to talk about general growth, like things that you can carry into the rest of your life. Because at the end of the day, I believe relentless resilience is this very simple. We fall, we rise, we thrive. We fall, we rise, we thrive. And I am building a tribe of women that have risen through their challenges, that are thriving because of their challenges. I could tell you that I wouldn't be the person I am sitting before you today if I hadn't gone through all that I've went through. And I just scraped the tip of the iceberg. I haven't even told you all of the stuff. But we'll get into it. This isn't really about me, except that I've experienced a lot of adversity. It's about you. It's about who you want to become and the life that you want to lead and the legacy that you want to leave. That, to me, is relentless resilience. Just standing on top of that mountain that you thought you would never climb and looking down saying, world, here I am. I fell, I rose, I'm thriving. So be sure to check back in every Monday morning, 11 o'clock Eastern time. If you have something that you want me to talk about on the show, you can drop a comment or a post in any of my social media or here in the live feed. I'm looking forward to doing this work with you. Fun work. Have a great day.